Welcome back to the podcast. What the hell do we know? My co-host, not calling you special guest anymore, co-host, Matt Rottman, back in the house. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Yes.
And I've always wanted to be a co-host my whole life.
One day Shane will join us. He's still rested up and enjoying life before he gets back into podcasting. So God bless him. He's actually going to record at least one podcast for me for a nonprofit that him and I are on the board of. So he's still around, but I'm enjoying this time with you. And today, man, what did we talk about? Oh yeah, last time we talked about it's not all about Jesus. Well, It ain't all about us either. Maybe that's a good way to start off today. It ain't all about us either. I'm bringing two things together today. One thing I'm bringing together, and I do mark this wonderful podcast explicit because sometimes we say words that are not appropriate for children. But one idea I'm bringing in to get together today is like, hey, I'm also an asshole, you know? And that idea of, hey, man, we are so quick to point the finger.
Oh, yes.
So quick to, look on the road, at work, wherever it be, like that person's an a-hole.
Oh,
that person's a jerk, da-da-da-da-da. And yet we're so slow to take a moment when we're brushing our teeth, washing our face, getting ready in the morning to just pause, to just look in the mirror and say, you know what? I don't got it all together either. I can be a dick sometimes. I can be an asshole sometimes. You know what I mean? And I'm combining that idea. I've been listening to this awesome guy. He's passed away, unfortunately, a couple years ago, but his name's Anthony DeMello. And he's sort of a spiritual mystic type of guy. His ethnicity is Indian. He identified as a Christ follower, much more of that cosmic Christ idea that Christ is in all and through all. And so sometimes we call him Christ and sometimes we don't. But he threw out this really interesting idea to me, Matt, of pursue being nobody and yet be who you need to be to help others.
Goodness gracious. Wow.
And it just hit me. And so that's why I think we're going to name this podcast Be Nobody, because we're all assholes. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see these two ideas converge, Be nobody. What do we mean by that? What do I mean by that? And I want to get your thoughts on it. So we'll sort of break down these three pieces. But sure. Be nobody. It means don't worry about the acclaim, the accolades. Don't worry about the recognition. Don't worry about the applause. I remember reading in a book, I haven't done this since then, and I need to do more of this, but this idea of secret service, this idea of you go out, you pick up trash or you volunteer and you don't tell anybody. You don't post it on social media. No one knows you did it. You actually did it just to do it, but like pursue being nobody. And I get it. In your career, you might have to get some awards to move up in your career, some degrees, some certificates, all that. But I'm talking your personal life, your social media life, what you say to people. I am working so hard about not trying to one-up people.
Yes.
Not trying to be like, oh, I know everything about that also. Sometimes even when someone's talking about something I know more about, maybe just listen in that conversation. You don't have to comment. They don't need to know that you know more or less than they do. Like, I think there are a lot of ways we can be nobody. And why would that be a good idea? I'll comment on your comment, but Matt, I sort of gave the definition of what it means to be nobody. You're welcome to add to it. But also, why don't you kick us off? If you add to it or not, that's okay. But kick us off with that question. Why would that be beneficial?
Well, see, here's the interesting thing. So I grew up in the LA area, right? And literally my every thought was, what do I look like? Who am I impressing? What is my physical body type like? Am I going to be able to withstand anything that comes at me in order to break me down because I'm not good enough? Will I be able to be strong enough mentally, physically? Will I have enough things in order to throw up whatever smoke screen I need to throw up in order to be impressive. Do I believe that all people in LA are like that? No, beyond a shadow of a doubt, no. But I'm just telling you, this is what I went through. My thought process was, if I didn't look good enough, then I had a disadvantage. If I didn't have the right things, then I had a different disadvantage. If I didn't have if I didn't know the right people, I was at a disadvantage. And I have to be honest, it gets really old really fast. Oh my gosh. And I was in a rock and roll band and we were playing in Hollywood and I was trying to be impressive and be like everybody else. And then Guns N' Roses comes in. Yeah, I'm old. Guns N' Roses comes into the Hollywood Strip. Everything completely changed. I'm in like this hair band with a mullet. If anybody wants it, they can ask. I'll send a picture. But we were phenomenal. We were really cool. Journey, Richard Marx, kind of cool thing with the saxophone. And then boom, everything changed. We weren't hip. We weren't anything. We were garbage. And we literally spent tens of thousands of dollars, because that was pay to play time, to look good, to look right, to get people's attention, to do all of these things. So finally, I think I was probably somewhere around 24. It was just like, I can't do this anymore. This is the interesting part. I can't do this anymore. So, disappeared, quit the band, went to study jazz like I wanted to, did a whole bunch of different things. But the fascinating thought is how much this creeps into my everyday. Like, who's impressed with me? Is my opinion needed? And I love that. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. I'm 52. I'm literally just learning that I can just shut my mouth, that I don't have to be the one with all the answers. Because to be honest, I am that guy. I like having all the answers, or at least being able to have a conversation at any level with anybody about whatever they want to talk about, which makes things a little challenging for me sometimes because I feel a little whacked out in my head. But the thing that I'm finding, and I found actually through the pandemic, and then a job that I had just before the pandemic that I lost, which was the best thing in the whole world that ever happened to me, I started changing my thought process. Like, I don't have to be the authority. I don't have to be the one. I don't have to do anything. And yet this constant cry for me of social media is, you have to be the one. You have to be impressive. You have to be these things. And it's fascinating to me because it really feels like there's a split in my head, like all of that seems to call back to the old me, and then the new me wants to move forward, but it's literally still a fight. At 52, it's literally still a fight because all I want to do is, I guess, be impressive. And I think that all boils down to, I just want to be liked. And that's where your first part comes in. We're all assholes. we're all assholes. So not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to like everything that you do. And just because I'm quick to say that guy driving, that was really hard for me when you said driving, but that guy who cuts you off and like, oh, that guy's a jerk. Why are you driving like this? Why aren't you merging when you're supposed to be merging? That's a yield sign. It's not a stop sign, blah, blah, blah. All the garbage I talk in my head out loud with my kids in the car. Woo, what am I teaching them? But this whole idea, I'm an ass. I don't know what they're going through. I have no idea. And guess what? Maybe they're late for work, or maybe they are just jerks. But why does that affect me?
And since we're all assholes, at least be a fun asshole.
Yeah.
In my older age, you're going to laugh at this, at 38, I'm 80 miles per hour everywhere.
Right.
And now I'm so stupidly frugal, regular, and I generally don't have the doors on, so the wind is like blowing, your whole soul around, the 5 highway, the 5 out here in California and everyone's speeding. So I'll be going like, people, then they need to get off an exit. Well, I'm in like one of the 2 slow lanes going like 60, but they're going, I would like to continue going 80 in the slow lane while they approach their exit in 3/4 of a mile. So they're tailing me. This happened this morning. They're tailing me. And so then the guy hits the shoulder, about, an 1/8 of a mile before the exit, because he's got to get around me, because, he's got to be between me and the other car that is 45 feet in front of me. his day. So he's being an asshole. I get it, but hey, I'm an asshole too. So when he passes me all angrily, I just smile and wave. And again, but I want to make this serious. The thought that comes to my mind is, oh, I'm being good.
Right.
I'm being the good. We all think we're the good guy.
Yes.
It's the majority of the stories we tell. We're not nobody. We're not the bystander. We're in the movie. You know, we're the story's about us most of the time. Let me just say this about me. The story's about me most of the time. I'm generally a hero or at least a sub-hero in the story. I was waving this morning thinking about this podcast, and I'm like, man, I'm being an asshole too. I guess I'm a fun asshole. Yeah, I mean, but back in the other stuff you said, whether it's LA, New York City, Chicago, Nashville, whether it's, you know, another country, you know, whether it's Instagram, Finstagram, Facebook. Yeah, I mean, I'm old and I know what a fake Instagram is. I thought that's pretty good. You know what I mean? Twitter, the older people in the world. You know what I mean? Yes, Snapchat still exists. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It never gets old when someone says, I thought that message would disappear. I didn't know they'd be able to take a picture of it. Stories like that never get old. A little tangent about Snapchat. Like, just didn't think through that one. Shouldn't have sent that naked pic. But like, you know, I think of the why of nobody, and you're talking about it because being somebody consumes you. It eats away at your joy. It eats away at your peace.
Yeah.
It eats away at your friendships because you're constantly trying. This was most of my life, trying to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah.
Trying to portray myself as somebody I'm not, rather than being myself. Recently, I'm really working hard. I'm pretty much off social media besides LinkedIn, if we still call that social media. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make me better than anybody. It's just a personal pursuit of trying to be nobody, trying to be more present for me. It doesn't mean if you're on social media, there are probably people on social media who are more nobodies than I am and who are more present than I am, but they're on social media. And God bless them. I'm walking in their footsteps, hopefully. You know, they're just a couple miles ahead of me. But I think of this thing, like, it's really helped me not put up a persona. It's really helped me. We're in a new town recently within the last 2 years, and so we're meeting a lot of new people. And sometimes, literally, I ask other couples if they want to hang out, and they don't get back to me. And I've just had to tell myself, yeah, not everyone's going to like you. I'm fucking exciting. I yell. Yeah, I mean, I like to party even though I'm 38. Yeah, I mean, 40% of the people I meet are really going to want to hang out with me. You know what I mean? And that's great. Accept that. Be you. You don't need to be friends with everybody, you know. And I know we deal with this at a young age, like every part of our life deals with this. Yeah. But at older age, so many people are still trapped in this box. So what's the good? So we talked about the bad of being somebody, but the good of being nobody. Man, it frees your soul.
Yeah.
Who you are. I mean, it's literally orgasmic. Being generous, being present, you know, volunteering and not telling somebody, not posting it, you know, doing I just worked out. I'm sweaty. You know what I mean? I think I got some, I don't know, whatever they use aftershave for, whatever it's called. I shaved and then I worked out. So I got some red things, you know, obviously you're wearing Gucci, you know, just kidding. But I'm just saying, like, man, just be free to be you. I think the hippies were on to something.
Yeah.
If, you know, if the cults weren't so cultish, maybe they'd be on to something, you know. Besides who they are, you know, they seem to want to be themselves in some sense, you know, but the idea of, like, be free, be you. And yet at the same time, being nobody means your focus is on others.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Or at least you have the ability to focus on, again, I go back to this, but focus on the one that's in front of you as compared to the one that's in the mirror. And that's literally my day-to-day. That's the struggle, my day-to-day. It's like the one in the mirror, I want to be so impressive. And the one in front of me, like at the store, driving, wherever, they're the ones who, and I'm not saying this because my life is so great and I'm giving something over to them, but they're the ones who are going to be missing something because I'm not being genuinely open to what's going on outside of me. I'm listening more to the recording in my head or playing that film. where I'm the action hero and like I'm trying to think of a quippy line or whatever, or the tagline, you know, and it's such an interesting thought process when you start to switch or when you've completely switched, because I'm sure there are people out there who have completely switched and wow, I want to learn more. But this idea of flipping it, and I love the idea of being no one. It's funny because my whole life I've always, like when I was in the rock and roll band, I really, really, really wanted to be super famous, but I wanted no one to know me. I just wanted to be the saxophone player in a really super famous band. So, so I would have all the accoutrements. Everyone would ask me my opinion, but nobody would quite know who I was. The general public wouldn't, the people in the know would know, and that would make me impressive somehow. But that was always, so also for me, getting rid of all of that and just saying, wait, you, no, stop bringing it back. You're the one. And it's just such an interesting, and it is so freeing when you can genuinely do that, when you have those moments. And I'm actually proud to say there are a lot more of those moments for me now than there were before. So I feel like I'm growing in that. And I'm fascinated.
Being nobody so that you can be who you need to be for others and for yourself. Mm-hmm. Let's not get wrong. The very first person that's going to benefit from you being nobody is yourself.
Yeah.
Stress is going to fall away. You're going to have a clearer head. You're going to enjoy the scenery. You're going to enjoy people, even the assholes, a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I said, but you're really going to enjoy the people you like a whole lot more. Yeah, I mean, you're going to hear people say things that they've said 100 times that you never heard because you were thinking about what you were going to say next.
Right.
It's a lot easier to recognize your faults when you're trying to be nobody, and therefore a lot easier to accept others. You know, because you're like,
that's powerful.
Yeah, I got this stuff. You know, if whatever relationship you're in, if you're in a marriage, if you're in a partnership, if you're in a business partnership, you know, if you're, you know, in a group, if you're in a church, if you're in a synagogue, if you're in a mosque, if you're, you know, I don't know, if you're in a running group, you know, a sewing group, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like whatever you're in, wherever you do relationship, you're going to see people in a whole new light.
Yeah, completely.
And I think it's going to lead to you being better at what you do.
Oh,
most of us have a career. Some of that, so for some people that's in the home as a mom or a dad, you know, an uncle, a caretaker. Some people that's out of home in a nonprofit or for-profit setting. Some people are running their own businesses. You know, some people are, 1099s, or some people are driving around delivering stuff, Instacart, you know, Uber Eats, all that. I mean, there's all these different amazing things you can do. And I think being nobody doesn't mean you're not successful at what you do.
Truth. Yes.
Excel. It doesn't mean you're not the CEO of a world-changing organization.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that. It means, number one, in my opinion, how you interact with the people in front of you, like you've been talking about. You've pointed that out. I think number two, it's how you present yourself to the world. Yeah. I mean, number three, it's how you look at yourself in the mirror. But you're not trying to bullhorn, you know, you're not trying to speak to everyone about who you are and all of your successes and accolades and titles. You know what I mean? You know, I love people who put doctor in their name.
Uh-huh.
Like, listen, I get it. You got your doctorate, which I don't have my doctorate.
Right.
So kudos to you. You know what I mean? But if you're working in an industry that's not using your doctorate, or you're not speaking at a university, you know, like it just like a general, like your personal email, it just, hey, this is the asshole part of me. So that's right. It's just hilarious to me. I'm like, why does it say doctor? Like, bro, we're just emailing about football. You don't got Dr. Ryan, you know, like you got your doctorate in theology or education. Like, hey, kudos. It's amazing. If we should talk about that, or if you're on a conference, list that crap. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't need 12 letters after your name all the time. You know what I mean? Like if you're applying for a job, sure.
Right.
You know, but like if you're sending an email about, you know, the Saturday lunch,
right.
you just be you, you know? I don't know, but I think it's freeing. I say it not to be judgmental, so I'm going to put that on me as an asshole. But I don't know, Matt. Where have you found freedom? You and I are just beginning to pursue this stuff.
Yeah.
Just beginning to pursue this stuff. But tell me, can you think of an example where you've pursued being nobody and it's benefited you?
It's really interesting. I think as being a father, for the longest time, I thought that everything, and okay, wow, this is hard, but I'm going to say it. That my thought process was not absolute like an iron fist, but it was like, no, these are the parameters. This is how things work. This is how we're going to work. This is how we're going to do this. And I have 6 kids, and they are remarkable, and they are certainly not and anyone to be put in a box. Not one of them will agree. If you decide their box for them, not one. They'll just look at you and go, excuse me? I'm sorry, go fuck yourself. So, and I love that about them, but that's been the really interesting part about being a father of older children. Because it's not about, oh, you have to let your children be free to make their own decisions. What it's about is these are people. You don't get to decide who they are, what they do, any of that. None of that is on you. So, and it's not about, oh, well, I just want to be their friend. It's not about that either. It's about they're a person and you're a person. And where can you find a common bond? Because you have blood. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are family. That there are plenty of places where that breaks down. But where can you find common ground within the people that you love? And I'm just using my family. Where can we find this common ground and grow together? Because we both have so much to learn. It's not just that I have so much to learn. It's not just that they have so much to learn or whatever. They're not 5. They're older, and as they're older, and with freedom comes choices, and with those choices comes life. So learning to not be an asshole, which I still am sometimes, unfortunately. I'm really trying not to be, but I am sometimes. But to not be an asshole, to look at who's in front of me and not worry about it's interesting, and not worry about the simple things that, I used to worry about, which honestly, if you just boil it all down, is, am I being listened to and am I being respected? And that's what everybody really does want. They want to be heard and they want to be respected. And I realized that through some of my actions and my thought processes, I was not being respectful at all. And I completely had to change, because that was just me focusing on me going, oh, well, this is what I want. This is what it's supposed to look like. What kind of garbage is that? Yeah. It's total crap. And I've literally had to go to all of my children multiple times and apologize for being an idiot. And then saying, would you please say that again? Because I want to try and hear it for real. And I'm not good at it, but I'm working on it.
Good story and such good advice, because you're talking as a father to a child, but that's the any relationship you have.
Yeah.
You already listened to every relationship that exists out there, but like that's an any relationship you have. You're speaking wisdom there of how we put together our own ideas of who we want other people to be.
Yeah, totally.
Angry at them when they're not those people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a whole nother podcast there, but that includes the pursuit of be nobody and let people be who they are.
Yes.
Let people be, and just because we are or others are, or being nobody doesn't mean that means you get to tell other people to be nobody.
Yeah, that's correct.
Somebody, and maybe they'll ask you about it. But it doesn't mean you're better than them. And gosh, I think I just want to end on the idea that I don't feel anywhere near being nobody. I've made steps towards it, but it's really ridiculously hard. My default when I do something good is I want applause. I want to be recognized.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
And that's not always bad. That's not always bad. If you work really hard on a project on your work, I hope your superiors are recognizing you.
Sure.
If you're killing it as a spouse, I hope your spouse is recognizing you. If you're doing well in school, I hope your parents and or your teachers or your peers are recognizing you. There are definitely times to be recognized, but it's the personal pursuit. It's the trying to churn it up. You know, it's the post and seeing how many likes it get and then taking it down because it didn't get enough likes.
Yeah.
Thinking of a different post that's going to get more likes. You know what I mean? It's the listing off all the things you've done to your spouse or your boss so they are aware of how fucking great of a person you are and how kneel and bow in your presence. And I'm being extreme, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do good things. It's hard to be a respectful, honest, loving person of integrity and do it in secret.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we could just end on the fact that it's worth it.
Yeah.
So what the hell do we know? Be nobody because we're all assholes. But what the hell do we know? Hey, thanks, brother. Until next time.
Okay, Rye. Thanks. Love you.
Love you.